Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new league racing video on this channel. This is overall Singapore, round 17 if I'm correct. We won the championship around Spa last week and we're still in the hunt for the Constructors Championship. As you can see, it is wet at the moment around Singapore. Usually around street tracks it's extremely hard to drive in full wet conditions. As you can see, I'm the only one going out on the inters at the moment. I felt like it was gonna dry up towards the end of the session. I'm P5 at the moment on at lap time set on full wets, but I felt like I was gonna take the risk and just try and set a lap time on intermediates. At the moment I don't think the track is ready for it just yet, but especially nearing the end of the session I'm gonna try and time it exactly so I'll be the last to cross the finish. So I'm gonna try and push a bit on this outlap and see if I can do 2 timed laps in a row, pushing as hard as I can. So as I skip forward now to the end of the first push lap on those intermediates, you can see we're almost a second down. So it's not working very well at the moment, but as you can see I understeer almost into the wall there. As you can see, the front tires are getting too cold at this point, so it just means the track isn't ready at the moment. So I'm gonna try and warm these up and go for one last push with around 10 seconds to go at the moment, so we're really last moment going into this. As you can see, we're crossing the line with 2 seconds to go. As you can see, straight away we go green, so bringing up the temperature did help a bit. But now we just have to wait and see if it actually is going to work. You can see there's a Ferrari ahead who's on intermediates as well. As you can see, going through that first section, 700s up at the moment, and I think we need to go improve around 1 second in this last lap. So yeah, first sector went pretty well, 1.5 tens up at this point. Heading into this very hard braking zone, braking just after 100 meters down to 3rd gear. Go over this curbstone, don't put your tires on it as it's very slippery at this point. You can see 2nd gear to try and get the rotation mid-corner. As you can see, I missed the apex slightly there, which cost me some time around the 10th. You can see the Ferrari ahead is getting quite close at this point, which at some point is going to give us dirty air, surely, because he's just quite a bit of the pace throughout this lap, as we started around 4 seconds behind him, and now he is around 1 second just ahead of us. So it's going to be quite annoying in these next few corners, as he's just going to give us dirty air. You can see understeering a bit through there, but I think the intermediates weren't ready anyway. So as you can see, I'm going 3 tenths down, 4 tenths down now, heading through this section, and then it pulls out of the way here, so we're gonna have some clean air in these last few corners to try and at least improve up position if we can. But yeah, those intermediates are just not working very well at this point. As you can see, I did make up quite a bit of time through this last sector, 3 tenths actually. And as I come across the line, I improve, but it's only by 100 after getting that big slide out of the last corner. But yeah, as you can see, I'm first of the intermediate runners, but yeah, not ideal those intermediates. I thought it was going to be the right decision as the track was improving slightly, but they just weren't ready. And you can see I think 1 second off, more or less, on those intermediates. So yeah, frustrating, but still top 10, starting P10, and we have to make up in the race. As we move on now to the end of the formation lap, I got hit on the formation lap, so I was stuck on the grids for quite a while. So our tires are gonna be minus 200 degrees, more or less, heading into this race. But anyway, we're gonna have to try and best to try and maintain position at least. You can see it's 5 red lights now, and on the cold tires I don't have a lot of traction, as you can see, but I managed to maintain position at least for the moment, as I had quite clear track heading into turn 1 on the inside. So that's good at least. As you can see, there's a Williams in P12 at the moment on soft, so he's going to be quite dangerous in those opening laps to us. But as you can see now, I'm doing a lot of overtake to try and stay ahead of Lucas UK. I'm defending here quite aggressively to try and maintain position at least. As you can see, a lot of people in front on hards. So they are all most likely going to be on the same strategy to us. But yeah, main threat at the moment is the Williams on the softs, who is going to be really fast right now. But as you can see, he still has to get past the McLaren of Lucas UK behind us. So we have a bit of protection from him. And let's see if we manage to stay ahead. As we now move to the end of lap 7, the Williams behind us dropped off really fast on those softs, as I think they just started to overheat real quick. So he wasn't really a threat. We managed to stay ahead quite easily without using any ERS. As you can see, we're on 100% right now, and our teammate is getting slightly out of shape. And I kind of felt like I was faster at this point, so I just really want to get past, and that's what I'm going to do right now. Use all my overtake possible to try and get past. You can see the slipstream plus the overtake helping me a lot heading into the first corner of sector 2. And now we have to hunt down Josh Idaho, who currently has a 3-second penalty. As you can see as well, Lucas UK in the McLaren having a 3-second penalty as well. Already very early on in the race, we don't even have a warning at this point, so we're looking very good penalty wise, and I'm obviously going to try and maintain that. As you can see, Josh getting out of shape there going into the tunnel, and I think Josh is slowly running out of ERS as well, trying to stay within the DRS of Ben Sabo in the Alpha Tauri ahead. So I don't think it's going to take me too long anymore before I start to get closer to Josh and maybe even get past him and hunt down Ben Sabo and the people ahead. I think the only people ahead of Ben Sabo were on the same strategy are Alessio Di Capua and Danny Moreno, who, as you can see on the mini-map in the bottom left, are I think around 4, 5, 6 seconds ahead. It's hard to tell really. I can only once see that when I get past Ben Sabo or I think past Josh Idaho. So you can see we put a personal best lap, which is a 39.5 in the last lap. And that was obviously because I used quite a bit of ERS and pushed hard to straight away close the gap to Josh Idaho ahead. And as you can see, I'm getting a very weird bump when I got close to the wall. It was really weird. I have no idea what that was. I've never had it as well before. So yeah, as you can see from the webcam shot a few seconds ago, I was very surprised. So yeah, anyway, we just have to maintain focus, stay consistent, not get any penalties or warnings. Just try and stick with the guys ahead. And hope we can close the gap to the guys ahead. As you can see, I get out of shape here as well, just like Josh on the last lap. But yeah, I think the main important thing right now is to keep the consistency and remain focused and not battle too hard with people ahead or in front of me, I mean. And yeah, just stay patient so I can fight later on in the race, which is crucial because I don't want to lose too much time to Alessio Di Capo and Danny Moreno ahead. So somehow I need to close the gap to those guys, even though they're super quick, and I didn't practice a lot for this race, as it's kind of a bit of a rest week, or not really a rest week, a rest weekend from F1 Esports for me. So I didn't want to play too much and get myself ready once the practice for F1 Esports starts again. So yeah, well, I'm not going to be completely on the pace, but that might make the race even more interesting, I think. So as you can see, Ben Sabo is almost getting out of the DRS from Josh Idaho now, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see if Josh Idaho can stick with Ben Sabo in his DRS without using too much DRS. So now we move on to lap 14, and as you can see, Josh Idle ahead of us has 6 seconds penalty. Nicolas Mateos, our teammate behind us as well. As you can see, Josh hits the wall there. I'm not sure if he got damage from that, but you can see the rear light flashing, which usually means that he's below 10% ERS, if I'm right. So yeah, 6 seconds of penalty and possibly wing damage. You can see we're very close now as he gets out of shape on the exit as well. And he lost DRS from Ben Sabo. So we're gonna get past now. I don't think he really wants to fight us, as he just wants to follow us through. Or pit, if he actually has wing damage. But yeah, we're gonna fight really hard to try and get back into the DRS of Ben Sabo at this point. As I think Ben Sabo is usually not someone who really picks up any warnings or penalties. So yeah, we really have to get past him on track to finish ahead of him. As you can see, Velocidani 5.4 seconds more or less ahead of us. So yeah, we still have to close that gap as well. As you can see, I'm using my ERS now to try and get back into the DRS zone. And I think we managed to do that as the DRS detection point is right here. I think I got it. I'm not sure though. Yeah, as you can see in the right bottom, we did get the DRS, which we're going to activate right now and try and get a bit more close to Ben Sabo to be a bit more comfortable with the DRS detection zones. And as you can see, Nicolas Matteo 1.5 seconds behind now as Josh Idle has retired from the session. So I think he probably did get wing damage from that hit with the wall on the exit right here. So that's a shame, but we've gained another position. And as you can also see, most people that were on different strategies have pitted at this point. I want to continue a bit longer on those hards and try and undercut the faster guys ahead, like Velocidani and Alessio Di Capua, to try and get their DRS and possibly overtake them later on in the race. But for now, I still want to stay out at least 2 more laps before I think about pitting. So now I move to the end of lap 17. You can see we've extended the gap to Lucas UK behind, who has now a 9-second time penalty for corner cutting. And also our teammate has pitted, so I expect him to come out ahead of us with the undercut, as the undercut is super powerful around this track. On new tires, you can see we get out of shape here. I want to do the opposite to Ben Sabo, and he continued, so I was gonna pit. Actually pushing as hard as possible, of course, on the exit, entry, sorry, of the pit lane. As you can see, Lucas UK behind us pitting as well. On go the new mediums as planned. We don't get held, anything went smooth, so yeah, that's important, of course. Sven Zerner on hards is the first person ahead of us right now. As you can see, Shazoo zones coming out just ahead of us. I'm quite sure our new mediums, as he did the fastest lap of the race just 1 lap ago. So yeah, I think I'm just missed getting his DRS, so that was frustrating. As you can see, I'm confused that I didn't get his DRS, but I forgot that the detection zone was, I think, out of turn 2. I'm not sure what the official turn 2 is. But anyway, now we're going to have to get past on the next lap, which is still fine as well. So yeah, I managed to save up fuel, of course, in traffic. I plan to start on less fuel than what you usually do. I started, I think, on -1 lap of fuel, which I do quite often on Singapore. I don't think it's as powerful as on last games, but it still works, because obviously you don't want to overheat the engine and lose power. So I started to start a bit lighter and save it up in the traffic. And as you can see, the first lap on mediums, I'm on 0.10. And again, as I'm behind Shazoo zones, I'm saving up fuel, as I want to save the power of the engine for once I get closer and want to get past, which is probably on the long back straight in sector 1, as we're going to use this DRS zone to get closer. As you can see, I went purple through sector 2 and 3, as I think Danny Moreno comes out around 2 seconds ahead of us, 1.9 at this point. As this lap we are going to get DRS and try to get past straight away by Jesus Zones. I don't think he's going to battle too hard. You can see I think he's under 10% battery as well, so there's nothing he can do at this point. And now the goal is to try and get within the DRS of Velociani. As you can see, I went 7/10 purple through sector 1. You can see how extremely powerful those new mediums are compared to old hards. As 1.3 is the gap now, so we've gained 6/10 to Velociani. But he's obviously gonna try and push to stay out of DRS, as I think I've undercutted him by around 4 seconds on that lap, as he just pitted only 1 lap later. And you can see Ben Sabo on the minima pitted as well, and he's absolute miles behind us. But obviously the disadvantage from pitting 1 lap earlier or 2 laps earlier is that you're just going to be slower to the finish. And as you can see, I'm catching Calcifer ahead, who was an old hard, so this is going to be a very painful sector for us, as we're just stuck here. We're probably going to lose around at least half a second through this last sector to get a snap of oversteer. As you can see, I'm not really happy with it. But yeah, nothing he can do about it as well, as I still put the fastest lap with only a green sector. But you can see Alessio Di Capua coming out right next to me, as we go side by side. We've slightly touched on the exit. But I think I'm going to get a DRS. I was behind on the detection zone slightly. So if he wouldn't have battled me, then he would have been ahead, because he would get a DRS, of course. So yeah, that's crucial, of course, that I at least stay 1 lap ahead so I can follow him later on. And he's going to be a lot faster in those last 11 laps, as his tires are 2 laps fresher, which is quite a lot on a track like Singapore, as first of all it's very long and there are loads of corners, of course. So yeah, he's going to be faster, we just have to accept that, but we're going to try and gain advantage from that and try to stick with him once he gets past us. As you can see, Velociani also pulling away slightly, as we have only 44% ERS left. So yeah, it's fine that he's pulling away, but we really want to try and stay with Alessio Di Capua in his DRS. And now we move on to the final 5 laps. Alessio did manage to pull out of DRS, as he had such a big tire advantage. But as you can see, both Danny Moreno and Alessio Di Capua got onto a group of cars that were on old hards, so they were on a different strategy to us. And that slowed them down and made me get back into DRS, which is obviously super important. As you can see, I had no ERS left in the bottom right, and now I can save it up again. I don't want to straight away attack. I'm just gonna sit back and let Danny and Alessio do their thing, because I just hope they can pull me along and help me through traffic as well, as I just want to save ERS at this point. As you can see, Danny didn't get past on the last lap, past I think Sven Turner. So yeah, that's interesting that he couldn't get past on those new mediums compared to those old hards, as obviously the mediums are going off as well. So yeah, I hope he gets past next lap so we can have a go at the guys ahead of him as well. But I think Sven Turner just really defended very well on that lap, so nothing he could do really, but just stick behind for 1 more lap, as obviously they're gonna get more of an advantage the longer we stay behind, as our tires are going off faster than theirs. So yeah, not ideal that Danny didn't manage to get past, but we're just gonna have to wait and see what's gonna happen in the next few laps between them. And I really hope Danny is gonna be able to get past at least on this lap, so as I said before, we can have a go at the guys ahead. You can see again I'm gonna get DRS, which is good, so I can save a bit of ERS. I'm just gonna sit back, and I think Alessio used a bit of ERS there as well. As you can see Danny Moreno going for it, but then they collide right here on the exit, and that gives Danny Moreno damage. I don't think Sven Zerner has damage, but at least it helps us, because that gives us one position. But you can see Sven Zerner light is flashing, I mean. So we're gonna use that to our advantage and use some ERS right now to get past Sven Zerner. You can see we go side by side. It's so close here. I got a big snap of overs there. But at least we get past. As you can see, I defend slightly going over the bridge into the hairpin, so he can't send it on me. But yeah, right now, again, I have to try and hunt down Alessio Di Capua to try and stay within DRS, which is not easy, as he obviously has much fresher tires. And Vlodje Hayes ahead in P2 with a 3-second penalty. So yeah, we really have to try and stay within the 3 seconds. And hope once again Alessio can pull us along. So yeah, now moving on to the last lap. As you can see, Alessio Di Capua managed to pull away on those newer mediums. He's hunting down Barry Burmant, who is currently P1. But as you can see, I just have no rear tires left. Trying to follow Vlodje Hayes. Still kind of wanted to get past him on track, but I felt like I didn't really have the pace, so I wasn't really gonna try. I'm just gonna stick behind here. You can see I'm just sliding around everywhere. As you can see, Sven Zerner and Ben Sabo got a penalty. 3 seconds actually. But as you can see, Ben Sabo 8 seconds behind us, which means we've done actually an insane job on those mediums, both on the undercut and pace-wise, as Alessio was at first 6 seconds ahead, and now heading towards the finish it's only 3.5 more or less, and obviously Ben Sabo was ahead of me, and now we're 8 seconds ahead. So medium run was amazing. I just made a mistake with going on inters in qualifying in that last run. But anyway, we've won the championship already, and as you can see, that's the AI absolutely destroying his own car. But yeah, the mistake was just trying to qualify on intermediates, which was obviously a learning moment. I felt like the track was going to dry up, as on the Delta in the pits it was showing that it was going to get faster at some point, but yeah, it didn't. And yeah, it's a shame, but nothing I can do. Still P3, still podium, so quite happy about that. I think we've only finished off the podium 2 times this season out of 17 races. So yeah, also with F1 Esports, of course, I can't practice as much as at the start of the league, as the main focus is F1 Esports. But I still feel like this is a good practice for me. Just in racing conditions, you know, it's always a bit different as in practice. As you learn to deal with non-ideal situations, like today starting P10 for instance. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the performance, especially in the race with such little practice. I only did two qualifying sessions. So yeah, quite happy with the performance, and yeah, I think I got the most out of it after qualifying, and it was a big learning moment. So I think next week we have Sochi, if I'm right. Not my favorite track. I think I speak for everyone when it's coming down to favorite tracks. Sochi is not the favorite for most people. But yeah, once again P3. We're still hunting down the Constructors Championship, as I think we're still around 80 points ahead. But yeah, especially the last few races, which I think are after F1 Esports, we're really gonna grind it out and try and get this Constructors Championship as well. So yeah, in the end we finished 5 seconds behind, I think, the winner, 4 seconds or 5 seconds, which is not too bad after starting P10 around Singapore, which is really hard overtaking wise. As you can see, I really had to be patient at the start with the slower people, or I wouldn't really say a lot slower, but yeah, I was a bit stuck in traffic and had to be patient and save it for once I got out on new mediums. You can see 5.1 seconds behind Barry Bormant, one of the few people to not get a penalty, so happy about it as well. Anyway, next week is Sochi. I will upload a video again then. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and see you guys next time.